Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS Slate Breakdown for Thursday, September 5th. We have a 5-game slate to go over tonight. It is a smaller one. Contests are a bit smaller because NFL is back tonight. We got the Chiefs versus the Ravens, but for this, we are talking about baseball still. 5 games to go over. We're going to get into it quick and see what we can get in. Now, before we do, come join us at LineStar. $39.99 per month. Gets you access to everything we do, all the props, all the DFS, the best ball. You get it all one low price. Now, perfect lineups from yesterday. We had an interesting slate on DraftKings. We had Shota and Zach Gallen being the perfect lineups. Both of them went nuts. And then hitting-wise, we had a 3-man Seattle stack, 2-man Chicago, then a one-off with Wade, Terang, and Taylor Ward, who went yard. Once again, I wasn't able to get the lineup for DraftKings, the winning lineup, but I do have one from FanDuel. I didn't play DraftKings yesterday, so I could not pull it. FanDuel perfect lineup. We have Zach Gallen. Guy went nuts, low priced. Definitely one of my favorite pitchers last night. And then we had 2 Mariners and a bunch of one-offs with the winning lineup going to Smashville 15, who absolutely did smash it. They had Shota. They had a 4-man Chicago Cubs stack that went nuts. 2-man Arizona and 2-man Oakland. 248.9. My top was 225.3. I had 11th place. Unfortunately, if you want to go over my lineup real quick, I had a 2-man Cubs stack with which I nailed, 2 of the guys you definitely needed, and then I had a 3-man Angels stack. A 4-man Angels stack, and unfortunately, Drewy missed a home run with a couple people on base. Just by a little bit. And then Manny Machado had bases loaded late in the game and flew out. So could have been much different. Just needed the ball to bounce my way a little bit differently, and I could have had it. But congrats to Smashville. You took it down. Now let's get into today's slate. All right. So our highest owned pitcher on DraftKings is Martin Perez, and I cannot tell you how crazy I think that is. He is only 7K. We have him at 2X, so I get why people are going there. Projections are saying it looks decent, and then he's a 3.5-star alert score. But we got big-time problems here. Look, he's looked great since he's been on the Padres. He has done well. The ERA has been down, but he has a 5.83 FIP over that span. He's the same pitcher he's been, and Detroit Tigers are crushing lefties over the last 20 games. 318 average, 236 ISO, 408 WOBA, 32% K rate at least. So there is strikeout upside in this spot, which makes Perez a little bit interesting, but they're crushing lefties, and Perez isn't a great hitter or a great pitcher. I don't like this spot for Martin Perez at high ownership. I just think 36% ownership is wild for me on a guy that is volatile and not that good. Next, we got Ranger Suarez, 9,700 versus the Marlins. I do like this spot for him. The ERA has showed he's been pitching way worse than he actually has. He's a FIP before over the last 5. Which isn't great in his standards. However, it is much better than that ERA of 6. So I think he has been pitching better lately than, the results have definitely shown. On the season or over the last 20, a 3.03 FIP, 24% K rate. I like the upside in this matchup with over the last 20 games versus lefties. Miami's striking out at 28.5%. So we have a little bit of upside with Miami striking out that much, and they're really not that great versus lefties. So I'm very intrigued in this spot for Ranger Suarez. Combined K rate 27.2. I'm in. And next we got Cody Bradford. 33% owned. He's 7,900. Look, this is the guy that I think should probably be where Martin Perez is. He's $900 more, but he's a better pitcher. 3.65 FIP over his last 20, 3.12 over his last 5, 23% K rate. His StatCast data is a little scary, but it is versus the Angels, who aren't that good. Now, the Angels offense really got rolling yesterday, but does that keep going today? I don't know. I would doubt it. I think Bradford's good enough to keep them at bay. They just aren't that great of an offense. Next, we got Reynaldo Lopez, 9,900. I think he is in the best spot on this slate. 3.1 FIP over his last 20, 3.92 over his last 5, 28% K rate over his last 5, 25% over his last 20. Colorado just isn't that good of an offense, and over their last 20 versus righties, they haven't been good either. Only a 237 average, striking out almost 28%. I like the spot for Reynaldo Lopez. It is a similar spot to Ranger Suarez, but I kind of like Lopez a little bit more. He's at home. He's a little less owned, so definitely interested in going there. Jake Irving, 8,600. That's going to be a no for me, dog. He is not that good of a pitcher, and I think the Pirates can get to him a little bit. He is at least averaging 32% more fantasy points away, but I think he's just priced way too high. Jack Kokonowitz, if that's how you say your name. I'm glad I nailed it. If not, I'm sorry. I butchered it. But look, his last outing was very good, but so far over his last 5 starts, 4.65 FIP, only a 9% K rate. It's just not the upside that I'm going to want to see. So I'm probably out on good old Jack. Casey Mize, 7,400. Okay, tough spot versus the Padres, who are a good hitting team regardless if you're a righty or a lefty. But Mize, 2.87 FIP over his last 5, 3.85 over his last 20. He is a decent pitcher. I'm a little bit intrigued in this spot for him. I think there's a good chance the Tigers are able to get a win today. But that goes with Mize needing to pitch well, which he totally can, but it is a very, very, very tough spot for him against a Padres team. Doesn't strike out much, puts a lot of balls in play, has a decent ISO, really good WOBA. So it's a really hard spot. 7.4K, though, makes me want to maybe have a little bit of him. Austin Gomber, absolutely do not want to go here. The Braves have been crushing lefties, and they've crushed Gomber in the past. 6,700. Just, it's cheap, but I don't think I can do it. Next, we got Bailey Falter, 6,100. I'm a little bit intrigued to go to Falter. One, the Nationals aren't that great of an offense. They've been hitting okay over the last 20 games, but still not great. I think Falter has a little bit of upside here. Now, his K rate is low, but he's only 6,100. He is super cheap, and we just don't need that much when a guy is 6,100. He's in a decent spot. He's fared well against them before. I don't mind taking some shots with a value play there. Next, Adam Oller. Not really too sure what to do here because his body of work since being in MLB has been pretty bad. However, the last 2 starts, he's been pretty good. 5.2 innings, 1 earned run, 6 Ks. 6 innings, 0 earned runs, 8 Ks. Now, I don't think he's magically just turned into a really good pitcher, but he has figured out something. Now, the issue here is he's facing Philadelphia, who has been hitting well the last couple days. Schwarber has been on absolute fire, and you got a righty-lefty matchup for Schwarber, which doesn't bode well for Oller. But it's a 5-game slate. You're going to have to take some chances, and I think you could take a shot at Oller. However, I don't really love the spot for him. Most likely, I am going to stick with Suarez, Bradford, Lopez, and then maybe some Mize in there a little bit. Also, Falter a little. Now, get over to FanDuel. Highest owned pitcher here, Reynaldo Lopez. I think he should at 10.9K. Cody Bradford is fine at 9.7K. Also very interested in him. And Ranger Suarez at 10.5 is super interesting. All three of those are pretty much where all my ownership would go to on FanDuel. Just don't think the other guys have enough upside in this slate to really get it done. Now, let's check out some stacks, wrap this up, and move on to more NFL content for today. All right, highest value plays, we have the Angels. It is also a leverage spot, so it is a little interesting. They crushed the ball yesterday. Can they do it 2 days in a row? I don't know. Bradford is a better pitcher than Bobby Miller was yesterday. Philadelphia versus Adam Oller. Look, if Adam Oller turns back into who he has been with a almost 6 FIP, then Philadelphia looks great as a value and as a stack. Let's check the highest owned. We got Philadelphia all over it. Oller is a nice leverage option at pitching with that type of ownership. I don't love chasing this type of ownership on a small slate like this where we're still kind of trying to figure out who Oller is as a pitcher. Philadelphia can definitely get him though. But it could go the other way as well. Thus, I don't mind some leverage stacks. Our highest projected is Philadelphia. Look, the whole body of work of Oller definitely tends to Philadelphia being a good stack. Now, our highest ceiling, we got Braves and Philadelphia. I think Braves are in a great spot and going much less owned, so I'd be very intrigued by going with them. Now our teams tab, Atlanta Braves and Philadelphia have a 4.8 implied total. That is the highest. Colorado's bullpen is much worse than Miami's, though, so Braves have the nod for me in that showdown. San Diego versus Casey Mize, 4.7. Mize is allowing a lot of hard contact, high average exit velocity, so the Padres could absolutely get to him. But he is one of the better pitchers on the slate, which is scary because it just shows you how bad pitching is today. Texas versus the Angels. Interesting spot for them. Don't mind going there. Pittsburgh, I think that is a stack that is going to go under-owned. I just don't believe in Jake Irving. Then you come down. There's obviously the all the different leverage stacks. I think Detroit versus Martin Perez is an interesting one. The Padres bullpen has been very, very good lately, but Martin Perez can get lit up and wouldn't be surprised if Detroit was able to get to him. They've been crushing lefties. Angels versus Bradford. Bullpen behind him is terrible. Don't mind that leverage stack. Miami and Colorado, I don't think get there, but it's a 5-game slate, so you got to take some weird chances on these slates to get different and try and take down one of these tournaments. So that'll do it for us today, guys. Good luck. Let's make some money, and I will be back tomorrow. Peace.